Today we are going to discuss the topic simple stresses and strain. This topic is for strength of material and mechanics of structure for 10 marks. Before going to discuss this simple stresses and strain, one concept, that is equilibrium, must be taken into consideration and must be studied. Let us take example of this block, and I am applying force here and the block is moving. But suppose if I am applying the forces like this force P towards right and force P towards left, then this block cannot move due to the nullifying effect of system of forces. So, even if by applying a number of forces or force system, if the block is not moving or the object is not moving, then it is known as system of equilibrium. How does it happen? See, this force is towards right and that force is towards left of equal magnitude. So, this is nullifying. Conventionally we are taking force towards right is positive and force towards left is negative. The force, both forces are having magnitude P. So, plus P minus P is equal to 0 is, that means the total forces on this body is 0. So, what are the conditions for equilibrium? The conditions for equilibrium are very simple. These are the conditions of equilibrium. These are analytical conditions for equilibrium, very simple. Summation of all the forces in x direction must be equal 0. Summation of all the forces in y direction is 0, and summation of all the moments about any point must be equal to 0. These are the analytical conditions for equilibrium. Here we are observing all the forces, that means two forces are there and both forces are in x direction, nullifying effects, that means plus P minus P equal to 0. Now let us study the concept of stress. It is internal resistance offered by a body to applied force P. That means when you apply force P on any particular body, these are the resistance lines. This is making resistance to this applied force in order to resist the deformation of this body. So, ultimately stress is applied force divided by area. How this applied force? Because this R is equal to this applied force. So, stress is nothing but applied force upon unit area. So, P upon A, the unit is Newton per meter square or Newton per mm square, or Newton per meter square is nothing but Pascal. In that sense, 1 megapascal is nothing but 1 Newton per mm square. You should note down this because this is very important criteria or important unit which always ask in examination. The next concept is strain. What is strain? So, it is change in length per unit original length when force P applied on any object. Take example of this only. If I am applying only a single force, if this is a fixed point or fixed object line and I am applying force P from this direction, then there might be some change in length of this object, and then this may be delta L upon original length. This is original length. So, change in length L, change in length delta L upon original length is strain E. So, E is delta L upon L. It has no unit because change in length is in millimeter and original length is also in millimeter. So, E is equal to delta L upon L with having no unit at all. Another concept, axial load. This is say axial load. This is in x axis. Whenever there are any type of load which is acted upon any of the principal axis x, y for plane object and x, y, z for solid object, then it is known as axial load. Axial stress, again simple concept, axial load per unit cross sectional area, which is the cross sectional area where this resistance applies. This is a unit cross sectional area. And what is axial strain? Again a simple concept, this delta L is in towards x axis, so delta L upon L, and if I am applying load in y direction, then there might be this type of change in breadth. So, change in breadth upon original breadth is in y direction. So, that is both these are axial strain. Another concepts, tensile stress and compressive stress. Generally, tensile stress is treated as positive and compressive treated as negative. So, when there are tensile forces, that means outward forces, then this stress sigma is equal to P upon A, and it is treated as tensile stress because both the forces are acting outwards. Compression or compressive forces, this forces P acting towards object from both sides, again this is P upon A, but it is compressive stress. What is the difference? Can you differentiate? Both are P upon A, but the above one is tensile stress and the below is compressive stress. This is treated as positive and conventionally this is treated as negative. The same case with tensile strain and compressive strain. Can anyone differentiate compressive stress? Okay. What will happen in first case? Here, due to outward forces, there is change in length, but it is positive. That means length will increase. So, E will be positive delta L, that means increase in length upon original length. Are you getting the point? Here, due to outward forces, this delta L will increase, and this is original length. What will happen in case 2? Okay, let us take this exercise and tell me in comment box or message me what will happen in compression case. Both forces are pushing it, or you may say these are the pull forces and these are the push forces. So, tell me in message box or comment box what will happen about compressive stress. Another concept is shear stress. What is shear stress? We have just discussed axial stress. This is an object, we are applying axial load to this object P, and we will having then both the forces. Stress, axial stress is P upon A. What about this shear? Suppose we are having a box, metal box, and we are drilling a hole in this box, then the stresses induced are known as shear stresses, and this area is considered as area under shear. This is area under shear. So, what is then formula for shear stress? The same formula, sigma is equal to shear force upon area under shear. Shear force upon area under shear. So, let us say this is P upon A, but ultimately what happens here, P upon L by B, but what happens here, P upon pi by 4 d square, because this is a circular area, though the cross section of this box is not circular. Cross section is also a L by B, but what is the area under shear? Area under shear is what? P upon pi by 4 d square. So, area under shear is pi by 4 into d square. So, this is what is the formula become for shear stress, P upon pi by 4 d square, though the unit is same, Newton per meter square or Newton per mm square, that means Pascal or megapascal. Another concept is double shear. Double shear, that means if I am attaching one another plate for this using a rivet, if I am joining these two rivet, here one and the below one, then it is double shear. One shear is here, another we have already drilled hole, second is here. So, there must be double shear. What will happen? Double shear stress will be P upon 2A or P upon 2 into pi by 4 d square. So, this is nothing but double shear, and you will have to use the formula P upon 2A. Another concept is torsional shear stress. For this torsional shear stress, when a body is loaded within its elastic limit, the ratio of shear stress and shear stress is constant. This constant is known as shear modulus G, or this shear modulus is also called as modulus of rigidity. So, modulus of rigidity is nothing but shear stress upon shear strain, or Q upon phi. This phi is nothing but shear strain. Another important concept is elastic limit. Friends, for every material there is a limiting value of force till which it regains its original shape. When you are going to remove the applied load, then the material regains its shape. So, the value till which the material regains its original shape, that is known as elastic limit. So, within elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to strain. That means, when applied stress is more or induced stress is more, the strain is more, and vice versa. This elastic limit, now after this elastic limit, there is another one concept, Hooke's law. This Hooke's law states that under the elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to strain, that is, sigma is proportional to E, or sigma upon E is constant, that is denoted as capital E, and this E is known as modulus of elasticity or Young's modulus. So, write down Hooke's law. when a material is loaded within its elastic limit, then the stress is directly proportional to strain, or sigma is proportional to E, or sigma upon E is equal to constant capital E, and this capital E is known as Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity. To find change in length delta L, we can derive the formula from this Hooke's law. Hooke's law states that stress is directly proportional to strain. So, sigma is directly proportional to E, or sigma upon E is capital E or Young's modulus. Substituting the value sigma is equal to P upon A, and small e is delta L by L is equal to E. Rearranging the term, we get the formula delta L is equal to PL upon AE. So, your second assignment is that tell me the unit of delta L. It is very simple, PL upon AE. So, you can directly find out delta L here, which is very simple. So, today we have discussed 5-6 formulas. The first one is stress, strain, shear modulus, then E, then G and delta L. So, take one page and write down list of formulae, which is very simple. Now, your assignment is to solve all these problems based on formulae till delta L is equal to PL upon AE.